Ready.
Hey, Ty, can I tweet that?
We're on the Livestream. We're going to sit down in a wide semicircle. So like this will be one edge, just curve around, and be like here.
The other edge.
Get the banners out. So
We're thankful to God for being a great leader in this.
circle up. Let's form a circle.
Semicircle.
Yeah, semicircle. We don't want to close it because then you won't be in the shot though. So
He's the champion of this whole thing, so we're very thankful.
make it. You can make it as wide as we need to in order to get everyone in. So. Well, he can pan. I mean, everyone in the semicircle, not everyone in the shot.
Sponsor of AJR, Assembly member from Glendale, Burbank, Montana. And there it is. Everybody, something historic happened today. We passed a bill here in California. We became the second state in the union to call for a constitutional convention to end the corruption of big money in politics once and for all. A lot of people worked really hard to do that, but one man in particular took tremendous leadership to make it happen, and he's here with us, Assemblymember Mike Gatto.
Thank you. I am a little overwhelmed. I mean, I cannot believe that, here it is on a Monday, and I know so many of you walked so far and came so far to work on this issue that some say is an insider issue or something that very few people understand, but I know that every American person, everybody in this country has a sense that their voices are being drowned out. It doesn't matter whether they're on the left or the right. People know that their voices are being drowned out by people who equate money to speech. And this notion that somebody who has a lot of money can drown out you and you and you and me is offensive to me. It's deeply offensive to me. I am so happy that it is offensive to you too, and that you decided to get involved and work so hard on this. This has been almost 2 years coming for us. I know for a lot of you it's been a long time as well. We introduced this measure in December 2012. And our goal was to force Congress, not to ask them, not to beg them, not to urge them, but to force them to act. We took advantage of a provision that our founding fathers and mothers believed would actually be used in times like this, when it is not in Congress's interest to act, when they refuse to act, when they are intransigent. And, I am so deeply honored that all of you came here, and I'm deeply honored to be a part of history on this. I really do believe this will lead to something good, hopefully at the federal level. And everyone can say that you were here. And so thank you so much. And if you have any other ideas, we're always all ears. We answer every single email that we get sent, every single phone call as well. So if you have any other ideas about what we can do to improve the system, please don't be a stranger. We really, really appreciate your help and your input. Have a great day.
How's everybody feeling? It's a powerful day. I know not all of us got to be up there, but some of y'all were in the balcony when the vote happened. How did that feel? Good. I heard there were some tears of joy shed.
It was ecstatic.
Yeah. And I think, it's not a coincidence that this vote happened the day after we showed up here, after we marched almost 500 miles, and we brought this message and this commitment that we're willing to stay, no matter how long it took, until our voices were heard and the people's will was met. And today, just one day after that, this vote has been passed, and I think that's an amazing sign, and we're going to keep making progress, right? We're going to stay here. When I was upstairs, I said to the Assembly member staff and to him that we're coming in a spirit of reaching out to our leaders to step up, really take leadership. We don't want to tear anybody down. We're coming in a spirit of love, and we're coming here to set the stage for them to rise to the occasion, to take leadership, right? And so we're reaching out, and that was a moment where he took our hands, and that's what we want to see. And the strength that we bring is that we're here and we're going to be insistent about it. And we're not going to move. We're going to try to set an example, because sometimes the people have to lead and then our leaders will follow, And we're going to stay here because they need to take more leadership, and they can take more leadership, and we need to push them. We need to push them with love for our country, with love for them, and with love for ourselves, right? Yeah. We're going to stay here because there's more for them to do. We got to push them. We got to give them strength. We got to give them backbone. We got to set that example. And that's the kind of relationship that we need to have. In the civil rights movement, LBJ never would have done nothing on civil rights if it wasn't for Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement, Fannie Lou Hamer, and everybody who was a part of that movement, everybody in SNCC, the folks who lost their lives, the people who made those sacrifices. They needed a partner, but they had to set the example. And that's the tradition that we're walking. Governor Brown, who's here, he needs to step up and take leadership. And he's done it before. When the farm workers marched from Delano to Sacramento and did multiple marches over the years in which he was governor, he took a lot of leadership. He sometimes walked with them, and set up the first, basically like labor relations board to cover agriculture in the country. That's just here in California, And that was a partnership between a movement and the leaders, and we're trying to create that same thing here in the Capitol over these next days. Do y'all believe we can do that? Yeah! There's more to come. And today we also learned that there was a chance to take another big step forward, that SB 1272, which just gives Californians the opportunity to vote on the November ballot to say, we believe that Congress needs to propose this amendment and our legislature needs to ratify it. They could have moved that forward today, and they didn't. They postponed it. And we're not going to just take that. We're going to stick around and be insistent and hold this space and say they need to move forward on this. They need to move forward on this. And they haven't done anything yet to really change things in California. There's nothing about what the Supreme Court has said that stops them from doing something to improve things here in California. And the California Disclose Act will do that, and we need to be here until they move forward on that. And our leaders need to step up, like Assemblymember Gatto, and tell the truth to people. And say, yes, this is what is going on in our government, in our society. It's been corrupted. Our government has been corrupted. Our elections have been corrupted by big money. And that's something that needs to change. And if everyone here who's legislating in this building and the governor, if they tell that truth to the people of California, the country, it's going to change the conversation. Because when you have a disease, when you have a sickness, the first step is to acknowledge that before you can change it. And we need to say, yes, American democracy has cancer. And unless we do a cancer of corruption, unless we do something about it, it's going to die, right? If it hasn't already. And we need them to tell the truth so we, the people, can mobilize and change that. And we're going to stay here until they do that. Right? And we need the support of everybody who's watching. If you're tuned in, if you're watching this, if you see it on video, we are holding down for your voice. We are staying in for you. We are fighting for your country so that you have a voice that's equal to anyone else, no matter how much money they have. So you have a government that represents you, represents all of us, not just the 1%. And we need your support. We need you to come and join us here at the Capitol if you can. We need you to spread the word on social media. We need you to donate. We need you to send food. We need you to mobilize your contacts, your organizations, your friends, and get them here so we can make this a moment that changes history and changes the course of this fight in our country. We need your support. We're standing here. We're going to be here, and we're asking you to do whatever you can to make us stronger and to empower us to be here, not just to represent you, but to fight together.
Yeah.
I got it here. I learned, I went on, I got a little personal tour guide. Okay, this is a guide for visitors to the California State Capitol. And it says right here that the rotunda is the temple of democracy. We are at the temple of democracy. In the 18th century, American architects adopted the use of majestic space, majestic indeed, found in early European churches. In this context, the rotunda expresses reverence for democracy's, quote, government by the people. Yeah, I think it's fitting that we are here in the temple of democracy, and I think it's shameful that we were locked out. That's right, at the people's house. We're still trying to find out who made that decision to close before the building was closed, but we have confirmed that it was because of us. It was because of that we had marched there. It was because we rallied, because we said we wanted to come in, that they shut the building to us. And I think that's just very disappointing. It's the wrong message to people in our state. You know, that we're here because we want to be heard, because we're investing in it. You know, we're honoring we come here with reverence. You know.
Yeah, you're part of the show. He's part of the show.
What's going on over here?
Y'all got the flag? Street flag? No.
These guys. I have to know. Sleep deprived.
This is the thing that the building's still open. Maybe it's too long.
Is anybody? Come on, let's get up. Whose house? Our house! Whose house? Our house! All the people! All the people!
Really just trying to radicalize and activate high school students, which are not often, engaged in politics. And I was doing that for a couple of years, and it was really great, but I never really felt, that excited about politics. Like I was 17 and I was getting close to the age to vote, and I just wasn't honest. And I found out about the work they were doing and just the issue of money in politics and the corruption of our democracy. I could articulate why I felt that. I could articulate why I just, would turn off the news in the evening. Why I didn't really care about who was winning elections, Why I just felt not that much hope about all the issues I would care about. Whether it's climate change, whether it's comprehensive immigration reform, or universal health care, whatever your issue is, all these folks who are working on these issues just weren't seeing that much movement around. And that's particularly the reason why. Even more than that, I had something to do about it. I had an organization to plug into and to organize with, to work on this issue, using nonviolent direct action, which is what we're here doing today. And we've been doing it, for almost 2 years now. But it's just beginning. It's just beginning. And it's really our time in Sacramento this March. This is really just beginning.
What was the first thing you did?
Oh, the first thing I did with 99Rise, I got arrested. When I was 17, I was a senior in high school. It was the middle of college application season, and I was like before the election, and I don't really care about this election. And I want to change that, I want to care about the election. I want to feel like the results of this election matter. So me and 2 other 17-year-olds, we went into JP Morgan Chase in downtown Manhattan.
JP Morgan Chase.
And all we did was ask them to disclose their political spending for the election cycle. Not that big an ask, we just want to know, who are you donating to? How? To who are you supporting? Right? And we told them we weren't going to leave until they did that. And they were not interested in telling us. And they barricaded the building. They blocked us from view from the sidewalk. They brought in all their security guards and a dozen cops for 3 17-year-old girls. Three of us. Scary? Probably not, but they did. And you know why that is? Because they're scared.
That's right.
They're threatened by
Anybody want to?
Said Danielle keeps his speech.
We'll hear from Maribel.
Maribel. Yeah.
I'm volunteer. I'm involved in a lot of stuff. Restorative justice,
Yeah.
healthcare for all, you name it.
Yeah.
And it's, being in this state capital, I do a lot of work on state policy. And one of the biggest things that we fought for is raising the minimum wage. And we were able to get most of the senators, not all of them. You know, we've got some of our senators that are very close with the Chamber of Commerce. We wanted to get health for all for people that are undocumented, but we couldn't make it happen. They were saying that they needed to find a funding source of how we're going to pay the health for all. $454 million it would cost us from now to 2019. But guess what?
What?
For the jail expansion, we supposedly have overcrowding of inmates that we needed to be able to house these jail inmates. It cost $500 million. And all, for 2 years in a row, we didn't have to find another funding source. They took it from our Prop 30 money that was going to be used for education and health and human services. They didn't have to look for another funding source. They knew where to go. And they didn't have to find a lot of different options. So why are we having this inequality and this injustice? We want the budget. We want a budget for the 99%, right?
Right.
What are you doing? He's jogging. Trying to explain what we're doing. Thank you for AJR1. I saw a few people that work for various senators, and so they're wondering why I'm here. And I told them why I was here. And that when we got the AJR1 bill to pass, and he knew that we were here for AJR1, he said to me, "You were the guys that were applauding for AJR1." I said, yes, we were.
Yeah.
And so he's we have friends that went into office. We have friends that want to work for and do something great, but the moment that they set foot here, they become corrupt. And I remember that gentleman who fought for immigration rights, all these things, but he works for a representative that did support a lot of environmental issues and corruption that made the fracking moratorium bill not pass. And so that's a problem. So anyway, I want to thank everyone for this opportunity, and let's keep up the fight, and we can definitely make change happen.
Speaking of which, I'll tell my story. This is our democracy. All of us working together, every generation.
Baby boomers in the house.
So I've been asked a number of times, why are you doing this? Why did you march 480 miles from Los Angeles to Sacramento at 62, almost 62 years old? Why do you do that? And I said, I do that for my children and my grandchildren, all future generations. We were able to have affordable education and go to great public schools and great public universities and have a degree in which we weren't in debt for the rest of our lives. We had a generation where we could go out, get a skill, and get a good paying job that we could support our family with. Can you do that today? No. Can you get a decent public education without going into debt at the university level today? No. And we had protections. My family was saved by Social Security when my father died on my 13th birthday. It saved us. And there are extreme politicians today that want to take away that program, which works perfectly well, does not cost the general fund a dime, and has saved millions and millions of people like me and my sisters and my mother. Is that right? No. Are we going to stand for that? No. So why am I marching? So in 2007, 2008, we had an international global meltdown. Did we not? Yes. And it was caused, and it's all documented by big banks controlling the government in Washington, D.C. that set up the whole thing that fell, the whole house of cards that fell. And I have family members who lost their job because of that crash. I have family members who lost their home to foreclosure from that crash. I have family members who graduated from top colleges could not get a job in their field because of that crash. I have family members who can't buy a house now because of that crash. I have family members who have to work at minimum wage after working 30 years for a major corporation because they don't have enough retirement to live. Is that right? No. Is that American? No. Is that what our fathers and mothers and grandparents fought for in the war and in the Depression? Is that what they fought for? No. So we have lost our democracy, and the only way we can get it back is by this kind of action. And why do I say that? Because I started on this march still kind of believing that, okay, enough petitions, enough calls to the legislators is going to do the trick. And that is an important feature. But it's not enough. Over and over we find that that is not enough. And we have a bill, SB 52, now that we're struggling to get passed. And there's lots of special interests all over this place trying to kill that. Because the politicians and their backers, their wealthy backers, don't want you to know who's putting up the money for those ads. Is that right? No. Is that fair? No. Is that democracy? No. Is that American? No. And we don't stand for it. So as we learn in the movements, in the abolitionist movement, in the suffragette movement for the right for women to vote, in the labor movement, in the civil rights movement, sometimes you can't just work with the normal system. You have to step up and do something different. And this is our generation's time to step up. Is it not? And are we going to step up? Why am I marching? Why am I marching? Why did I get arrested last night? Why are everyone here today? For our children and our grandchildren, all those generations to come, not only in America, but around the world, who depend on us to take the democracy and our government and our economy back from the 1%. Can we do it? Can we do it?
I'm just really proud of everybody that walked here from LA. That just really makes me happy because I grew up at a time where it just seems like people just did not care what was going on. And I think that's why we got this mess we got going on. And I just also want to say that when I was a kid learning government, we were taught that government was our servant, that we told the government this is what we want because we were the people. And should not be a government that is by the corporation. It is by the people. We are the people. And the people with all the money and everything else that are buying the votes and are getting the laws passed are hurting people. You know, why is that happening? Why wasn't anybody stepping up and saying, wait a minute, let's stop this thing? It took a global collapse for us to just say, okay, wait a minute, we've had enough. But we, the people, need to take our government back and say this, it is a government for the people, by the people, not a government for the corporations and by the corporations.
I'm a veteran. Thank you. I did 6 years in the Navy, and several of the parks we stopped at on the way here had memorials to veterans from various wars going back to the Spanish-American War. And there is an incredible monument here to the veterans from Vietnam. If you want to have your heart broken, I strongly suggest you go look at that memorial. But I look at the people that fought at Lexington and Concord and wintered over at Valley Forge and actually won our freedom and our independence and our democracy. And I look at the veterans from World War II and from Korea and Vietnam and Afghanistan and Iraq, and it just tears me apart to think that the suffering that they did, that the losses that their children suffered, the losses that their parents suffered to create and to preserve the democracy that we have, has been sold by 5 unelected ideologues in Washington, D.C., who prattle on about the original intention of the Constitution, and anybody with 2 brain cells to rub together obviously knows that none of those people fought in those wars so that corporations could buy our elections, could buy both political parties. This is not a Democrat and a Republican issue. Both parties are prostituting themselves for money so they can get elected and have the power and the authority to lord it over the rest of us and to sell elections, to sell legislation. You talk about the return on lobbying money is something like $1,200 or $200 to 1. So the money they invest is getting them a return. It's getting them an exchange. If you read Jack Abramoff's book about lobbying, he talks blatantly about the corruption in the bribery. When you pay money to elected officials and they pass a legislation that benefits your private interest, I don't know how you can't call that bribery. But these 5 unelected ideologues say, that's not bribery, that's free speech. And if you want to complain about it, we'll set up a little area for you off to the side where we're not going to give you any media coverage and you can whine all you want. We're not here to whine. We're here to demand. Fought for, and many of them died for, and many of them came back broken for. We want what they earn, and it's as simple as that. Thank you.
Managed to pull herself up, got into an Ivy League college, couldn't go because she had a kid. She's like the definition of if the American dream exists, she deserves it. She worked her way through nursing school, got into one of the best nursing schools, worked to feed all of her children, and for some reason, is still struggling to try and make it. And at some point, you have to wonder, it's not her making the wrong decisions, it's the system that's doing something wrong.
Here at the California March for Democracy in Sacramento in the People's House. We welcome you, we thank you, and if you just join in and you are hearing these stories and feeling inspired and you're wondering what exactly we are fighting for here and what the change we expect to win by being here is, we want to make sure that you know that we walked almost 500 miles from Los Angeles to here in Sacramento. A very simple demand to our leaders here, that we want them to tell the truth to the people in California, that the system is corrupt because of the influence of big money in politics. Is that true? Yeah! We're calling on them to have the courage to tell that truth to the people, because we need to change the conversation, and we need to understand that our democracy is sick, and we need to name the disease so that we can fix it. But we can't just stop there. They have to start taking action to end this corruption. And we've given them 3 steps 3 clear steps that they can take. 3 bills that, before today, all 3 were pending in the legislature. And one of them passed today, Today, it was historic, the second state in the Union after Vermont that has called for a constitutional convention to bring the states together to propose a 28th Amendment to restore free and fair elections in our country, to end the corruption of big money in politics once and for all, to make clear that money is not speech, corporations are not people, and that Congress has the power representing the people to prohibit and regulate political spending to ensure political equality so we all have an equal voice, no matter how much money that we have. That's what we're fighting for. We took a big step forward today, but there are more steps that need to be taken. And we are staying here to push that those steps are taken. We want our leaders here to move forward deliberately to pass another bill, SB 1272, that would give every Californian the opportunity to vote, every Californian of voting age, this November, to say that Congress should propose that amendment and our legislature should ratify it. They were going to vote on that today, but it didn't happen. And we need them to move forward with urgency and get it done. And we're looking at potentially next week, so we're going to be here until that's done.
Yeah.
We know it's true that ultimately to solve this crisis, we have to win change at the national level, at the federal level, at the constitutional level. But our leaders in California, no matter what the Supreme Court says, they can start taking action to change things in California today.
Yeah.
And one thing that the Supreme Court, in all their absence of wisdom, the corporatist majority led by Chief Justice Roberts, in their Citizens United decision, that shameful disgrace, they did say that disclosure, you could do that, right? That was something that was important. That was something that would, make this corrupt system function somehow. Make it so that big money wasn't corrupting things. But we haven't seen the disclosure increase. Not at the federal level, not at the state level. And there's a bill pending in our legislature right now, the California Disclose Act, that would take such a modest step forward, simply by letting us know who is buying our elections, by forcing the top 3 funders to any political ad to be prominently visually displayed. I don't think that's a lot to ask.
No.
And they're not moving forward on that. It's been a 2-year process now to try to move that forward, and that bill is in danger. And if we can't get that done, I think that is an indictment of our system.
Yeah.
We have hope. Especially today, because we just passed a bill that is historic in scope. That the biggest state in the union, the 9th biggest economy in the world, just said to our Congress, hey look, if you don't act, we're going to do something that's never been done before in this country. We're going to have a convention of the states, and we're going to go around. So we have hope, and we are going to stay here until that hope is fulfilled, until the voice of the people is heard. And today, we took a big step forward, but we're not going to leave. We're not just going to pack up and go home until they take action that is commensurate with the crisis that we're in. This is too urgent. And when Olivia was talking about the folks who are working so hard in our country and not getting ahead and falling behind, they don't need to do that for too many more days, in my opinion, right? I think one more day is too many, right? So we know if we can end this corruption, we can have a government that will work for people, that can work for everybody. This is the richest country in the history of the universe, as far as we know. Certainly in the history of this planet. And we have enough wealth for everyone to have the opportunities that they have.
Right.
And there is plenty of work that needs to get done. But we need to have the power to come together as a nation, as a family, around a table where we all get a seat, and to make rules that are going to enable everybody's dreams to be fulfilled. Because right now, all the wealth is going to the top 1%, and they're using that wealth to buy our democracy. It's a vicious cycle, and it's bringing our country down, and we're tired of it. We made the sacrifice of walking almost 500 miles, and we made the sacrifice, some of us, of spending the night in jail last night. and others who stayed out all night on the sidewalk, holding down a vigil as sentinels for democracy. And we're going to continue in that to give courage to our leaders here, just like my Gatto that came down here and has fought himself and pushed for almost 2 years now to pass the bill that just passed today. We need them all to step up and follow his example, follow our example, and do something to really solve this problem. We have hope today. We have hope today because we won a victory. And we need to win more victories, and we're going to stick around and we're going to win some more. We're going to keep fighting because that's the tradition that we're in. That's the America that I believe in. That's the America that I'm proud of. When we talk about what is the meaning of American pride, that's what makes me proud. When I think about the folks who have suffered and sacrificed to take this promise of democracy and make something real out of it. And I'm proud to be here with all of you who are walking in that tradition and fighting that tradition. God bless you. We might be here for another 5 weeks. We stick around because we're going to hold it down here. We don't know what's going to happen. We want to stay in people's house. I want to sleep right on this floor tonight. This is the people's house. This is the temple of democracy. I want to pray in here tonight. And so I hope that we can do that. But if somebody comes and tells us that we have to leave, some of us are going to be willing to spend the night in jail instead of being willing. And so we need you to stand with us. Go to marchfordemocracy.org, spread the word on Facebook, on Twitter. Come here if you can. Let's make this a moment for our country. And we got to keep the energy up in this room. Support everybody who's willing to stay here through the night, who's willing to go to jail. We got to keep the energy, the animal spirit up in this room. Will y'all do that with me? Yeah! We all got to step up. Every voice matters in this country. Every voice matters in this room.
As a veteran, a lot of people picked up guns and fought for their country. I'm not going to ask anybody to pick up a gun.
Neither will we.
If you're in California, I'm going to ask you to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you to turn on your computer. This is becoming a partisan issue. If you live especially in a Republican district, I want you to call your representative. I want you to say, if you support 1272, do you want to have the right to vote, yes or no? Corporations are not people, money is not speech. All we want to do is have them put it on the ballot. For a Republican, for a Democrat, that should not be too much to ask.
That's right.
Republicans, you are the party of Lincoln, for God's sakes. All we want you to do is call your representative and say, put it on the ballot so we can vote.
Yeah!
You've got two things you're going to ask for. You're going to ask for the California Disclose Act. All it says is who is trying to buy our vote. You can say any darn thing you want in the ad, just tell us who you are. And again, I'm asking you people in Republican districts, call them, email them, tell them, all we want to know is who's trying to buy our vote. Basic democracy. Why do you have a problem with not letting us vote and not letting us know who is buying the ads? Please, for your children, do this. Thank you.
Yeah!
We shall not be moved.
Yeah!
Who's us? We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like a tree standing by the water.
So I packed up my bags, my last day of school, and was here on the march that night to start marching the next day. Now I have a lot of reasons to be here on this march. One of them is because of my students. I work with a lot of undocumented students, and a lot of their parents are undocumented. It's really hard to teach students who are worried about doing homework at night because they're more worried about the police coming and taking their parents away. Or maybe their parents have already been deported and they don't know when they're going to see their father or mother again. That's the reality of many of the students in our public and private schools. It's how can they get an education when they're worried about their parents, right? Another reason, healthcare. My mom got sick when I was 7 and ended up dying of cancer when I was 16. Then later in my life, my dad was in a horrible car accident that ended up costing my family hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical bills, nearly bankrupting my family. That's not fair and that's not right. Finally, my passion is children, and I love working with children. I want to serve them. That's my life dream. I'm going to go to grad school in August, and when I'm done, the dream is to I'm going to have more than $90,000 in student loan debt to pay back. That's a reality of many of the students in America today. And what's going to happen when my students try to go to college? They're going to have that debt too. So we need to do something. Money in politics affects all the major issues, but it's the first issue. It's the first thing we need to get done before we can move forward with immigration reform, healthcare reform, public and free education. That's quality for everyone. So that's why I'm marching.
Yeah! Second verse, first, we can do the main verse again, we'll wrap it up, okay? Alright. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to New York Island, from the forest to country water. This land was made for you and me, as I was walking at Union Highway, I saw a building that is skyway, I saw the glory that floating down. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to New York Island, from redwood forest to country water. This land was made for you and me. Whose land is it? Our land. Whose house is it? Our house. Whose country is it? Our country. Whose democracy is it? Our democracy.
What's that?
I'm Melissa, I'm 15, and we live in a supporter of HAR 1. In fact, he spoke today on the floor. Senator Mark Desagne from the 7th District, representing Contra Costa and Alameda Corridor, is going to come down in the next few minutes and say some words.
Are we still trying to kill time? No, I don't have a song, I don't have a speech. I do have a quick update though, if I may. So yesterday, thought that kind of a personal update. All right, fine, it's a story. Personal story. I finally stood up, tried to talk in front of people. There's some of us were here though. So, quick recap. I thought that it might be possible, that I believe that it was possible that people getting together, working together, democratically, non-violently, could affect change. And then today, a really important piece of legislation was passed. And so today, I know how it works.
Moment of silence.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. We shall all be free. We shall all be free. We shall all be free someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. Oh, deep in my not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved today.
They want to sign it here. They want. Yeah, thank you this time.
Hey, Kai, you remember the song we sung at the end of the nonviolence training that caused you trauma? It's just a change. Long time.
Ben, Sean, how do you do that on the top? Anybody else want to share a little bit about what's in your heart? Why are you here today? Yes, sir.
My name is Jonathan, and I'm here because I believe in this march. I'm so thankful for the people who walked all the way from Los Angeles to Sacramento to get money out of politics. Just examine it at all. I think everybody on the right and the left, we all understand that the system's been captured. What that means is death. Poverty is death. People should not work full-time jobs and live in poverty.
That's right. Yeah.
It's just that simple. These people that have all this money have more than they need. We can cut the money in half and they'll have the same lifestyle. But then all our problems will be solved. So rich people, you don't have to lose everything. Just share a bit more. We do it strategically. Everybody can be happy. We love you too. Come back to humanity.
Yes.
We're the team. We're all one family. You guys can live separately in your lofty places and fly around in your jets, have your private areas, but you're still human.
That's right.
You can't pretend that you're not somehow affected by the suffering that's created by the hoarding of your money.
It's very deliberately not be able to inhabit what we've always called our home, the only home that we know of. And so if there's no other reason, if there's nothing that gets you motivated, and I think there's a lot of things that get all of us motivated, but at the very bottom, we have to be willing to understand that if we keep going in the direction we're going, catastrophic climate change, ecological collapse, species extinction, these are all converging crises that are going to result in and that's a catastrophic fact that it's hard to wrap your head around, it's hard to sit with because it is so dire. It does seem so far off, but it is not far off. It is dire in those urgent sense. I was a Peace Corps volunteer for 2 years in rural Paraguay, and I helped small farmers and their families develop home gardens so they could grow their own vegetables that they couldn't afford. I helped them try to establish more sustainable farming techniques because their traditional ways have been co-opted by colonial powers, essentially forcing them to grow cotton, soy, or export. And I saw there in my 2 years communities like mine that were diverse, biodiverse, culturally diverse, a lot of immigrants have come from Germany, other European countries. And instead of forcing the natives to kind of, adopt their tongue, had learned Guarani, which is a native language, and taken out the indigenous cultures. It's a very unique and farming experience. So this diverse place, culturally, biologically diverse place, these communities were being hemmed in day by day by enormous beef, soy, and monoculture ranches that were all for export, but mostly going to the United States and Western Europe. And the farmers were being told, if you do this, you can make a lot more money. Stop growing corn, stop growing root crops and vegetables, and you can feed your family. Because if you grow soy, if you grow cotton for export, we'll get money, we'll get cash money. You can buy whatever you want, buy TVs, buy radio. And they bought it because TVs and radios are pretty cool, and because they don't have the concept of saving and budgeting money is not something that is inherited. And so farmers are changing the little land they have left to grow these crops that are destroying the land, and all the while those communities, which were used to be definitely sustainable in harmony with those forests and those land bases, are being trimmed down to next to nothing by endless expanses of marginalized grasslands and pesticide, herbicide-ridden monocultures. As far as the eye can see, it was once in what was once perhaps the most biodiverse region on the continent, not the directly led rainforest. I traveled around South America, and this is happening everywhere. It's happening in Bolivia, it's happening in Argentina, in Brazil, in Paraguay. It's happening, it's near completion in the United States. Great Plains and mountains, Great Plains of corn, Great Plains of perennial grasses, meter or more high, with herds of buffalo in the tens of millions going across it. We've exterminated the buffalo, we've exterminated those grasslands, which would be, if we restored to pre-industrial, if we restored to pre-colonial levels, would be enough to sequester perhaps half the carbon we emitted since the Industrial Revolution. There are creative ways to take back our to heal our planet and take care of it, but none of those creative ways will be if we keep this corrupt system that exists with these economic plutocrats and our political as long as that corrupt relationship exists, we will continue to destroy the planet until there's nothing left. So this sounds dire, it sounds bleak, but this is what I sit with on a regular basis to make sure that I can keep up, getting up in the morning, working for the movement, working for nothing in terms of financial benefit, but working because I know that for myself, for everyone I love, and for the whole of humanity, for the whole of the planet, that we have to do something about this devastation. So, thank you.
somebody want to give a basic orientation breakdown on what we're up to for anybody that might be watching that, doesn't have that? Missed it earlier? ¿Se puede? ¿Se puedes? Creo que sí. Look at him, Mike.
Before the march, somebody asked me, why are you going to drive your van for 37 days on a march to Sacramento? And I said, because I don't have anything better to do. And I didn't say that as a joke. I said it because what do you have that's better to do than to save your democracy from being sold to international corporations?
Hey!
And I would like to say, there is a price to democracy, there is a price to freedom. The price to freedom is constant alertness. You have to pay attention to what's going on. And I do not mean listening only to your favorite news station. You should listen to stuff on the left. You should listen to stuff on the right. You should listen to stuff in the center. You should pay attention to all the arguments. And once you are paying attention, then you have to fight back. When something is wrong, you have to fight back. There is a sentiment that a people will have as bad a government as they can tolerate. So all you people out there that have something better to do than defend your democracy, like watching your television or playing your music or whatever it is, you really need to reevaluate just how bad a government you are willing to tolerate and actually step up and do something about it. Democracy is a job. It may have been given to us by those people that fought for it for the last 200 years, but it is not really up to you to now give it up because you have something better to do than defend it. If you're not registered to vote, and I may offend some of you, my viewpoint is shame on you. This is a job. All of us know that if you do not do your job, you lose your job. So I'm asking you, step up. You don't have to come here, but you have to start paying attention. I don't care if you're on the left or you're on the right. All I'm asking you to do is look at the issues and get involved. And to come back to SB 1272, if you want to have the right simply to vote yes or no, corporations are not people, money is not speech. Call Sacramento. Just say, I want to vote. It's real simple. It's a democracy. I want to be heard. If you watch all these ads and it says, sponsored by Citizens for Good Government, what a crock that is. Who in the world is Citizens for Good Government? Is it the Koch brothers? Is it Sheldon Adelson? Is it Monsanto? Is it Aramco, some freaking oil company that's half owned by Saudi Arabia that is sponsoring the bill? All we want to do is have the democracy that we thought we were born into and that we were born into, and little by little it's being taken away from us. And it's time to say, I am done. I am tired, I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore.
Yeah.
Come on, Greg.
Hi, Lauren.
So you just mentioned what you want to be true. I was taught in school that at the beginning of big events like your school day, or now like in my labor council, with the Alameda Labor Council, you start the day with the Pledge of Allegiance. It's become a traditional thing. And at the very end of the Pledge of Allegiance, people say, with liberty and justice for all. And justice is a word that's really, really important for me. And that's a saying that I want to be true. And it can't be true as long as we have an oligarch society that benefits the tiniest fraction of 1%. It has to be true though, and we have to make it true. So I work with different groups that try to create social justice and different groups that try to create environmental justice. And one of them is called the Sunflower Alliance. And they're fighting really hard for environmental justice. They work with marginalized communities that live in the shadow of the big refineries in the Bay Area, the refinery crescent. And these industries have been harming communities for years and years. They've been buying out the politics, the politicians, and getting their way, building these polluting factories and really harming the people in those communities. And now that we're running out of fossil fuels, now that we're at peak oil or past peak oil production, where we can't find as much oil as we used to find, and we're going to start coming down the backside of that bell-shaped curve where we run out of fossil fuels. They want to go to extreme energy production. They want to start fracking the earth to get every last drop of oil out of the shale formations. They don't care how toxic it is, how damaging it is to the environment, how it destroys our water, how it pollutes marginalized communities again, farmers. They really don't care about anything. So we have to care about each other, we have to support each other, and we have to create a different reality. And that's what I see 99Rise doing. And I'm so thankful to you guys that you guys were willing to walk the talk. And you did something that I couldn't do, something that's extraordinary and amazing. And I can't wait to hear the senator come down and talk about, hopefully he'll really acknowledge the crisis of corruption. And I'm hopeful that he'll do that in just a few moments. So if you're watching this, stay tuned, it's going to get wild.
Yeah. How's everybody feeling? Good! We've been here a while. We're going to be here a while yet. We don't know how long. We want to stay right here. Yeah. The people's house, but we feel we have a right to be.
And I can hear it.
Okay, you got me on a roll.
Really talk to us.
Just one other thing I want to say about the Sunflower Alliance, because they're folks near and dear to my heart. We meet every couple of weeks and we try to do the right thing for the Bay Area. So this same group of folks, they decided to host a climate conference, the first Bay Area climate conference. They had some amazing speakers over 3 days. This is just a couple of months ago. And one of them was Professor Mark Jacobson from Stanford University, who has a plan that's a real plan of hope. And it's a plan that can really save our planet, save our atmosphere, prevent these positive feedback loops that cause runaway climate catastrophic collapse. And he's proven with his students over the last 10 years that we don't need fossil fuels. At this moment in time, we have the technology to completely transfer over to renewable energy. And we could do it by 2035 if we didn't have the influence of money in politics. Everything exists. That California, that includes transportation. We could completely be driving on renewable energy. And the most amazing thing about this thing, he discovered in his students that we don't even have to burn anything. And that would have the most amazing healing effect on the atmosphere. Everything that we do could be done with fuel cells, with wind, water, and solar. And we have the capacity, we have the production. California could be a net exporter of renewable energy to the rest of the country, and we don't need to use any renewable energy at all. And the only thing getting in the way of this plan, just Google Mark Jacobson and learn about it. It's the most amazing thing, and it's all true. It's all backed by science and Stanford University. The only thing getting in the way of this new reality that can save humanity, save our planet, save our beautiful animals and plants is money and politics. So we've got to get this done. We've got to get it done fast. We've got to get money out of politics and restore democracy.
Right, I think someone needs to speak to the fact that 95% of us agree that we need to get money out of politics in this country by some polls. And that means conservative people think money in politics is wrong, right? I mean, obviously everyone might notice that at this point in history, 99Rise has some liberally minds in here, right? I'm from Orange County and I speak to a lot of conservatives all the time. I'm agnostic and don't believe anything in particular, except we need to get money out of politics. Swear to God. So, but you know, where does that 95% come from? It means when I talk to my dad's friends, all Republicans, his friend Henry, he told me the other day at a party that he gives $5,000 to a couple of different politicians, and he feels like a useless small fry, and that's why he gave me $100 in terms of my fundraising for this march, right? So when I get in arguments with every single party my dad has, we butt heads. But he gave me money for this, and he said, yeah, we got to get money out of the political system. Because truth be told, money out of the political system includes the money all special interests are giving, including unions. It should be about numbers of people that you have on your side, not how much money your institution has. I just wanted to point out that, you know, hopefully our conservative brothers and sisters will join us in 99Rise or in their own organizations. We have Tea Party allies, we have allies all over the spectrum, and we need to come together and push our politicians in any way we can, including this one, to do what's right, one person, one vote, get money out of politics, and restore our democracy. Thanks.
My name is David. I joined the march in Stockton. I've been working on it, supporting the march since before that. I moved to the Bay Area about a year ago because I saw that there was this crisis of corruption, and I understood that you know, it was a popular notion that people understood this, you know, this 99%, this 1%. It was you know, I've been talking to anybody on the street. Finally, after years of trying to talk about it and people not really understanding that concept, and then I realized it was a popular concept now, and that was gonna put us in a place where it would be possible now to take the action and to create the changes that are needed. And so I rearranged my life and I moved to the Bay Area because I thought that, because I understood this and I knew other people understood that the Bay Area might be a good place to run into other people that not only understood that but wanted to do something about it. So I packed up my bags, I moved there, and I started attending rallies for anything. Cut a stencil of a fist, and I had spray painted on my sign for this big rally at Richmond refinery, and I was walking around with it, and I saw another group of people with a fist on their sign over there that was stenciled on it. So I gotta go talk to these people over here. And, I started going to the meetings, and it turned out, you know, that was a group of people that had seen the same things, understood that. And in the year since I've been working with 99Rise, I've been empowered to take action, you know, that's a bit of my story. That's that's just a small bit of my story, and I know the thing that's important about my stories is so much of all the details is that I have a story that brought me here, and each and every person here has a story that brought them here, and that everyone who's on their way right now also has a story that's compelling them, that they understand how this affects their lives. And I do a lot of recruiting in the Bay Area, and I get to hear a lot of people's stories, and everyone's got a story. So if you're able to, those watching, like if you're able to come out here and support us, do so now. I mean, this is growing every day, and now is the time to act. So, and thank you for coming here, being here as well. Thank you.
We've got the whole world in our hands. We've got the whole wide world in our hands. We've got the whole world in our hands. We've got the whole world in our hands. We've got the little bitty babies in our hands. We've got the little bitty babies in our hands. We've got the little bitty babies in our hands. We've got the whole world in our hands. We've got you and me, sister, in our hands. We've got you and me, sister, in our hands. We've got you and me, sister, in our hands. We've got the whole world in our hands. We've got democracy in our hands. We've got democracy in our hands. We've got democracy in our hands. We've got the whole world in our hands. First verse. We've got the whole world in our hands. We've got the whole world in our hands. We've got the whole world in our hands. We've got the whole world in our
Come on down, everybody. We got some tired people in here.
How many viewers?
I think this is the first time we haven't had any songs.
Jason, do you know this one by heart? It's a sweet one.
We have credentials.
They don't allow cameras in the Senate, but maybe in the cities. But I have a feeling you will come by afterwards. Maybe in the meantime we can see what democracy looks like, version we want to change.
Maybe we could try out a new silent method of political speech.
Can you do that?
One finger, which means perhaps
Eureka.
one person, one vote. Yeah. And people know about two fingers. That could mean two things. Peas or finger. I like the vote. And then there is a certain type of one finger salute that you can choose. I'm going around. But that involves the middle finger. And we have a different method. So maybe the one index finger, that could be a symbol within our movement. We could be like this, one person, one vote. Yes. And we could go in there, we could just elect one. You know what I mean? One person, one vote. Because we don't want to go up there and disrupt anything, do we? No, we don't.
Or we could do this.
Let's just make sure we go mobile. So we just gotta. Where's Brother Pete? Taking a food break?
Taking a little break, yeah.
Well, if we get somebody to carry the laptop, can you carry the camera or somebody, or Noreen or something?
Yeah, I can attempt to do it. hope that I.
Man of many hats. I mean, if you, I'm not.
No, I hope that it keeps working. So.
If it doesn't, you know, there are worse things that have happened. Maybe. What do y'all think? You want to go on a field trip? Yeah. Summer camp for the Democratic Revolution field trip. Brother Trent.
Hey.
Everybody say hi to Brother Trent.
Oh, Pete. Fucked it up, so. Yeah, I unplugged this and fucked it up, I think. Fine. Is it back? It says standby. Okay, they want to go mobile? Battery set. Huh? Battery set. What battery? This one? Yeah, wow, it's like 500 minutes.
Yeah.
Huh?
Big.
500 minutes. Do you have a charger? Do it? Do you have the webcam? The webcam could do it. Right? You just move this gear here, webcam it. Oh, it's right there.
That's the only thing that's going on. Where is it? 4203. Much straight up. Everyone's okay upstairs.
They're gonna go there. Let's figure out how to do it. Webcam?
I'm not going to call you back because it's real fun. You got it. Can we just email something? Yes. Okay.
The restrooms are about halfway down the hall. These are locked.
Tell them why you're here.
My name's Shane. I'm from Los Angeles. I'm here to improve our democracy, to elevate our voice, the voice of the public, so that our voice is louder. Or let's just say our voice is equal to everyone else's voice. Right now, it's the artificial entities, the corporations. 4203. It's okay. We're going to go up to a Senate hearing committee right now, but the voice of the public is not as strong right now as the voice of artificial entities. That could be corporations on the right, it could be unions on the left, super PACs on both sides, independent expenditure committees, the ones that say Friends of Tomorrow or Citizens for a Better Sunset, you know, something ludicrous like that. As well as nonprofits. All those groups give money, and millionaires and billionaires give money, and their voice is like our voice with a huge megaphone. They're the ones able to rent or buy politicians, get the bills passed, and have policies written that benefit their interests, their special interest groups, and their companies. So we need to do something about that, and that's to lower the influence of money in politics and elevate the voice of the public. That's why I'm here, and I hope you support the cause.
All right. I only know what I was told by one of the people who's working on behalf of defeating the bill. Because right now, as I understand it, cities and counties can get together, band together, and buy alternative sources of energy for their city. And what I was told is that PG&E has sponsored this bill that will severely limit the ability of counties and cities to get together to buy cheaper and alternative energy for their communities. And so the position
you know, that I face all the time.
Last I heard, we have 90 RSVPs from people around the state. these hearings, we're very careful, very respectful of the committee's time because they have a lot of bills to do. So anybody that comes and testifies, we tell them, just line up patiently along with everybody else and just say your name and where you're from, and then urge them to support SB 52.
Yeah.
Just no speeches. You make speeches. The speech is the number of people that are there. I get to make a little speech. But everybody else is there, the 90 people, and any of you who want to come up, your speech is in the numbers of people from all around the state that are showing that they want to have real disclosure on political ads as the very first part, the very first step in implementing the battles that we have here. So, how many of you actually made the march the whole way? I know some of you marched. Dang. City Hall, and that got me all tired out. So, you guys are very impressive. So, keep up your fight, be respectful, and you're in people's house. So, we got one of our things. Let's get the other two. Thank you. Assembly members, Bonta, Perea, Fong, Rodriguez, Hall, Logue, or Donnelly as your assembly members, give them a call and urge them to vote yes in the committee tomorrow for SB 52.
Maybe go to their office. Yeah.
Hey.
What time and where is the committee?
It's at 1:30 p.m. in room 444. So it's very, very important that committee stuff is very respectful, quiet lineup. That's what gets their attention. We've done this before where we've packed it with over 100 people from around the state, and there are people watching, from leadership and others that see, and they get the reports back of, oh my gosh, look how many people from around the state care about fixing their democracy by passing this bill. That's what gets their attention. In the hearing rooms. So,
right on.
Exciting time.
All right. So, did you go up here this week?
They still have another bill left. There's only one more bill after the one they're working on right now. So we don't know how much longer they're going to be working. They got a lot of work to do, and they're doing it. Did you hear Mike Gatto came down? So
Well, I mean, they can't close the building if the meeting's still going on. I think the folks are excited about going up there. We go up as a whole group. I don't think we should have the expectation that we stick around for that long. But I don't mind an opportunity for. Is this an assembly or senate? Senate. Or for any of the legislators here to see us, to know that we're here, in a coordinated way. So I think if people want to go on a field trip, we could do that together. Be there for a very brief time. I wondered if there's anything we can do on food, because I'm sure folks are getting hungry. Does anyone have like a secret magic? Pull out that food kind of thing?
Yeah. Sorry, you should have showed us.
And you can't bring any food in? Okay. Loving tacos. Let's show them here. Yeah, and I want to figure out, see if we can figure out something real quick. You like it, I know you. I've had it. It's all right. I don't know. Okay, so we talked with Max, and he said no. They laughed along. So even if you have like an apple in your back, that's confiscation.
Bringing in your lunch is okay. Ordering food from people is not.
Well, what's the difference? So people can in your bag. Yeah. So why don't we see if anybody else ever can bring it? Wait, would you be willing to bring it to the
Grocery outlet, that's a pretty good deal. Grocery outlet.
Yeah.
See these pictures of the donators of them when it worked before through Livestream, Twitter.
It's strong. Everybody take a little bite.
Okay, so do we have anybody who's outside that's coming? Yeah, just a second. Do we have anybody who's outside? Lucas? Lucas is not over there. That's James. Okay. As far as we know, Lucas is around.
What's the name of your YouTube channel again? Act Radio Now? Act Radio BC?
Yep, we Act Radio Man. Do you have that webcam, man?
Yeah, before we like that.
That's okay, do the webcam.
Right. Realistic upstairs.
Leave this, take the webcam with the computer, have somebody watch your shit. I'll leave all of it set up, and then cool. That's what I would recommend. Hey, show me Lucas.
Peter, Brian says he's done.
Stay over your sensitive and expensive equipment.
While I follow the path of non-aggression,
Aren't you gaining a ton of viewers?
what's that?
I don't know, what time is it here? It's 11:45.
It's wow. Yeah, 3 hours.
Well,
You too.
Remember our symbol?
A little bit.
procurement for other renewable resources have gone up. Biomass and geothermal are expected to go down by 50%. We just feel that this bill helps on level playing field and ensures a more sound renewable procurement policy. And more importantly, it's just let's get it done. They've been working on this for 10 years, and we need to get it done so we can start including it. And I appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa Cortez Roth on behalf of the California Wind Energy Association. First, I want to thank the author and the sponsors for working with us on language that we're now fully in support of. Wind is one of those resources that have largely benefited from the existing system, and we've heard a lot in the last few years about a more level playing field. This does that in a technology neutral way, which we fully support. We ask for your vote.
Thank you.
And it's really been too bad that we haven't been doing this up to this point. We all know that it's the right thing to do, and I think we ought to get on it.
Thanks for this.
Sylvia Solis Shaw on behalf of the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District. We are in strong support of this measure. The biomass industry plays a vital role in providing a cleaner alternative to open agricultural burn in the valley. So we are working with them in cleaning up the air in the valley. We hope this bill will even the playing field and
Chair Justin on behalf of the Youth Greenbuilding Council, Catholic Community Alliance of Family Farmers, and also Environment California to support green, but also balanced and diversified energy sources. Thank
you. Thanks for this.
Good evening, Victoria Rome with NRDC. We are in support and also want to register support for CLC. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for this.
Mr. Chair, members, Brian Riley on behalf of EDF and support.
Mr. Chair, members, Beth Olasso on behalf of the Agricultural Energy Consumers Association in support.
Trent Smith on behalf of the Independent Energy Producers in support.
Mr. Chair, members, Cindy Howard of the California Edison in support.
Thanks for this. Any other witnesses in support? Are there any witnesses in opposition?
Representing the Large Scale Solar Association, we were in opposition. We've just changed our position to neutral based on the amendments last week. The original opposition was based on two factors. One, that it over-directed managed the PUC in their development cost related to integration, and specifically that advertising consideration in some cases we had some prices. So we didn't want to do either. For the same reasons that Ms. Nimala stated, and we just want to point out that a lot has changed since the 80s. We wanted the CPUC to look at factors that would impact the kind of studies and evaluations today, and we believe that the bill now does that. So we thank the author, and we are removing our opposition.
Thank you. Any other witnesses in opposition? From the committee. Senator Polk moves the bill. I can't also see this. Would you care to close?
Actually, I will. I'd like to just say that, I don't have any preference over green energy. I like them all, have them all in my district. But I have never had this much support on the bill either, but that's kind of unique here. But anyway, I just want to say that I look forward to us making green a priority in California, and I think this bill is a small step in getting it level. I hate to see, us have them pitted against each other. I think that's not productive. I think that
Yeah.
Place, Simmons has 9 votes. We'll place it on hold temporarily. Members of all items, that was the last bill we presented.
today present the 16 measures on call. So
Chairman,
before we start listening to calls, Senator Fuller.
I have a question. Can an author of a bill on call make further amendments?
Once the measure has been moved and voted on, and the measure is on call, the bill must pass or fail based on that motion. Once it's passed or once it's failed, then there may be options on it.
Can the author be called back to state anything for the record?
Yes. Under public comment, I don't know. There's no formal way to sort of record that or break that other than goodwill of us.
So if I want to give a courtesy vote for an author to take amendments in the next committee, then it sounds like I sort of need to trust them and I can take this to that committee.
And we can help him or her to the council.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything further before listening to calls? Okay, I know you. I think if we're all here, then let's take it to file order. File item number 1, AB 365. By Assembly Member Bolden, please call. That measure is out. File item 2 is part of our consent calendar, which consists of file item 2, AB 876, with amendments. File item 5, AB 1937, with amendments, and file item 16, AB 2760. Please call.
Current vote 4-0, Fuller. Fuller, aye. Black. Pinella. Pinella, aye. Corbett. Corbett, aye. De Leon. De Leon, aye. Tanya. Tanya, aye. Hill. Hill, aye.
10 ayes, no noes. Consent calendar is approved. File item number 3, AB 1434 by Assembly Member Yamato.
You passed the appropriations. Current vote 3-1, Fuller. Fuller, no. Black. Pinella. Pinella, aye. Corbett. Corbett, aye. De Leon. De Leon, aye. Tanya. Tanya, aye. Hill. Hill, aye.
8 ayes, 2 noes. That measure is out. File item number 4, AB 1935 by Assembly Member Campos, with only some of the amendments being taken. Other issues raising the analysis acknowledged in the honorable work committee to find alternative amendments to address those same concerns. Please let the call.
You passed the amendments to appropriations. Current vote 5-0, Black. Pinella. Pinella, aye. Corbett. Corbett, aye. De Leon. De Leon, aye. Tanya. Tanya, aye. Hill. Hill, aye.
10 ayes, no noes. That measure is out. File item number 6, AB 1953 by Assembly Member Skinner. Please let the call.
You passed the amendments to appropriations. Current vote 6-2, Black. Pinella. Pinella, aye. De Leon. De Leon, aye. Tanya. Tanya, aye.
8 ayes, 2 noes. That measure is out. Senator Carter.
On item 7, okay. I just wanted to state this on the record so that I'm clear. I heard the question that Senator Fuller asked. I was willing to change my vote to an aye if I knew that AB 2145 was amended to reflect the ability for 3 entities to be part of a CCA. So if the bill doesn't make it, and we have the opportunity to amend it, I would to support it. Otherwise, I want to make that statement now before
Senator Fuller.
I'm willing to give a courtesy vote at this time. Assembly Member Bradford has told me that he will
if I allow the bill to continue moving, he will make amendments that do the 3 contiguous counties, and that he will do, accept grandfather in all the local ordinances up until the end of the year, December 2014. And on that understanding, even though this is a hard vote for me to do, I am willing to let it move forward because I believe there's a willingness among the group to try to work it out, and there's not much time left. I thought it was going to be Q where I was going to be on and be able to ensure that that was happening, but that's maybe not possible, so I'm going to ask the chair to help me pull it back if that doesn't happen. Thank you.
Clarification, Jean, and that includes grandfather to December 31st.
Yes, local adopted ordinance.
Question, Senator Hill, Senator DeSanti.
I just, sort of a part process. So, as a maker of the motion, the process was to reflect that in the motion.
Well, it'll be part of the transcript. I believe when the motion was made, the motion substantively said one thing, but there was a full recognition of committee that ongoing discussions and negotiations were taking place. So I think
And that's just my suggestion. It's not a reflection of the author, just to give people a higher comfort level.
I see a nod in the affirmative, and not only was from Member Bradford, that was ordered, but Senator Fuller is a woman of her word.
Mr. Chair, I would like to
Senator Hill.
also, I'm willing to change my no vote to a nay, based on the retirement
Senator Fidel. So after lengthy discussion and public comment, the author accepted the 2 amendments recommended in the analysis to swap the opt-in to opt-out. And in addition to that, in the analysis, made a recommendation to, for lack of a better term, begin to get our arms around what is the definition of community choice of segregation. The analysis suggests start with one county at a time. The conversation here reflects a desire from a chunk of the committee here, not limited to just one county, to go in the direction of up to 3 counties, must be contiguous, and knowing that there are some CCAs that are established, others that aren't, and some sort of information or some process in between. There's a grandfathering element to the desire, not to the technical motion, but to the desire, I believe. It's now an expectation of whether it will Other questions, please let's call.
Uncut is amended to environmental college. Current vote 2-4. Fuller, aye. Fuller, aye. Block. Canella. Canella, aye. DeLeon. DeLeon, aye. Hadley. Hill, notes aye.
Of the absent others. Six ayes, 3 noes. That measure is out, and only because we know we have a lot of public comments on that. We know that the process isn't always the cleanest, easiest, simplest, but I think through the extensive discussion, the direction of the legislation, as established, even though they don't reflect that since they are. But as chair of the committee will reserve the right to bring the bill back to this committee before it goes to the Senate if it moves in a different direction than what we've established here tonight. File item number 8, AB 2218 by Councilmember Bradford. Please put the call.
You pass to appropriations, current vote 5-0. Fuller, no. Block, Pinella, aye. De Leon, aye. Tenier, aye. Hill, aye.
9 ayes, 1 no. That measure is out. File item number 9, AB 2227 by Councilmember Burke. Please put the call.
You pass the amendment to appropriations, current vote 5-0. Block, Pinella, aye. Corbett, aye. De Leon, aye. Tenier, aye. Hill, aye.
10 ayes, no noes. That measure is out. File item number 10, AB 2229 by Councilmember Bradford. Chair voting no. Please put the call.
You pass to appropriations, current vote 3-4. Chair voting no. Block, Pinella, no. De Leon, Tenier, no.
3 ayes, 6 noes. That measure fails. That objection for consideration granted. File item number 11, AB 2363 by Councilmember Dolly. Please put the call.
You pass to appropriations, current vote 9-0. Block, De Leon, aye.
10 ayes, no noes. That measure is out. File item number 12, AB 2581 by Councilmember Bradford. Please put the call.
You pass as amended to appropriations, current vote 5-3. Block, Pinella, aye. De Leon, aye.
7 ayes, 3 noes. That measure is out. File item 13, AB 2584 by Councilmember Standing. Chair voting no. Please put the call.
You pass to appropriations, chair voting no. Current vote 4-2. Block, Pinella, aye. De Leon,
Whose house?
Okay, so we just went up a bunch of stairs up to a Senate subcommittee that was being held, and we came in quiet and respectful, and we it was what?
Energy Committee Senate.
Energy Committee Senate. Yeah, it was Energy Committee Senate. So basically, there's some stuff that's always going through where there's lobbyists and they're putting money to try to get this thing to go through or influence things so that that other thing doesn't go through. That's not in our interest. That doesn't, it's not in the environment's interest. And we believe that, that those with money, have a bigger say in the government than we do. So we went up there. We respectfully and quietly walked in, took our seats while holding our fingers in the air. And, we sat there for quite a while quietly with our fingers in the air. Our fingers representing one person, one vote. All right, get money out of politics. We're doing it here. Come to the Capitol.
It's definitely messing with our time frames.
We're working on the burritos. And legislator, Senator Desaulnier still may be coming down. Hopefully. Very welcome.
Where's your water bottle, dude? Where's your water bottle?
gentlemen, welcome to the California March for Democracy sit-in here at Sacramento State Capitol Building. I'm Mary Zeiser. Tonight, I'm here to reclaim democracy with some like-minded individuals. Things have really come is like an American nightmare at this point. And there are enough of us who suffer from it that we've come together and we're making real change tonight over a common bond. And we share our deep-rooted values with one another back over to the side of justice. And one of the principles of Kingian nonviolence, like Martin Luther King Jr., is that justice that we're trying to work through. Deep down inside, we're born pure-hearted, empathetic, shift the value system a little bit, or a lot actually. It's flip-flopped from people valuing community in order to make it continue. I really want to encourage you all to visit 99Rise.org. JR1 today, to tell your family and friends that you really care about this and tell them why. Facebook page, like that.
What's happening? We can make it happen.
We can make it happen.
Left my lovely state of Iowa to learn organizing. He recruited me to lead the state, along with a number of many. We hope that if we can make this change in California, it can spread to the rest of the country. The Bay Area, I'm really proud of that. Our team, Bay Area, has grow our team. Where marches and protesting is a training, and that we can learn together. We can learn the tools we need to help this democracy movement spread. And then we train people to do this in their town, their state. Dance for democracy.
How does the dance?
What out there? Anyone from there? So if there's any Florida love, we want to hear from you. Join us on 99Rise website or March for Democracy. We give a shout out to Sierra Taylor. She marched with us. She's from Florida, from Fort Lauderdale. She's a member of the Dream Defenders that came out here and represented. And it was a
Tell
part
them about the Dream
of the
Defenders.
march. Well, one of our inspirations was definitely the Dream Defenders did an occupation of their state capital, Florida. They call it the #takeover, and for 31 days they were inside the capital. Trayvon Martin killing, and they to meet the crisis that happened over Trayvon Martin and many other young black and brown youth, and that was an inspiration to us because how galvanized movement really strengthened things in Florida and among the neighborhoods that are scared of the violence. They're concerned about their family members being shot. The stand, trying to overturn the stand your ground laws in Florida.
I want to give a shout out to Al Savera and David Leno for watching. Thank you. They're joining us from Los Angeles tonight. We've had some marchers come from different walks of life to to join the California March for Democracy. One gentleman from St. Louis, Missouri.
Jeff.
Oh, my great
Jeff. Oh my God. He was a great organizer. Came in for a couple of days, marched with us, helped plan some major events. Just stepped in to supply the organizing oomph that helped us finish so strong here. The final day of the march and the big event rally with Dolores Huerta.
Gosh, Dolores Huerta joined us. That was historic.
Come on.
You know.
Oh, who else? Missouri was representing. Florida was representing. New York is representing. Danielle Raskin, one of our leaders.
Yeah.
He gave it to me.
What's up? Hey, so anyway,
If you're just
Danielle
joining us
Raskin was one of our leaders for the march, and also a strong leader at Occidental College. She's from New York City. She's spoke several times already tonight.
She's sleeping right there with the American flag found around her.
It's hard building a movement. It takes a lot of work.
We need more support. I feel super supported here actually tonight. There's so many great people, and the energy is really warm. You know, even though like these people have walked here from Los Angeles almost 500 miles, the enthusiasm that is still present within them all and us all is inspirational.
My name's Ty, and I've been marching the whole way. Marched 37 days with March for Democracy, and I also helped with logistics and helped with events in Fresno and Bakersfield. There's been a hell of a lot of support along the way. The community, a lot of the small towns and the bigger cities have stepped up in ways to give us housing, to give us amazing food every day, and I don't know any way we could have done this without the support. We learned a lot from Dolores Huerta and the Dolores Huerta Foundation. Their organizers helped really show us that from all the experience that they have doing these long marches and the original march to Sacramento. We met Roberto Bustos, Erasto. They were giving us advice like how they did it themselves back 30 years ago, 40 years ago, and just showing us the way, and built some amazing relationships there, and that I think will continue to grow and deepen, and as we pass this intergenerational knowledge, what is organizing? How do we do this in community, in going through new communities and meeting people, learning from them and re-inspiring the older generations to continue to fight, to continue to pass on this knowledge. I was deeply touched by these communities, that to see what a close-knit community could be, where neighbors get a call that there's people who need us and go out of their way to provide for people in need. We're marching through, and they knew how hard it is to do a march. They know how physically it's exhausting, emotionally, spiritually, it's very taxing, and knowing that how hard it is, they're just gave this overwhelming support. That's the kind of community that I want to live in, where our neighbors are reaching out to one another. Maybe they don't even know us, and they're willing to reach out and be of assistance, to be of aid, to reach out to people who need a little help. That's the community that I want to see across the country. That's a lot more in line with how I was raised in Iowa. We grew up in the country in rural Iowa. I knew my neighbors, and I remember some of my best friends. They would just come over and they'd have a big harvest of sweet corn, and they'd drop off all the sweet corn we could eat. And other neighbors like reaching out to babysitting, to drop off barbecue, like all kinds of support, just taking care of each other. And that's the kind of world that I want to live in. That we know our neighbors, we know each other. And now I live in the city of Oakland, and it's hard. Like there's a lot of distrust and a lot of people. There's a lot of diversity in Oakland. But I hope that we learn from all the communities coming together to make this march possible. Like I want to bring that love, that trust, and that just faith in humanity. I want to bring that to my neighbors. I want to bring that to the other organizations. We start to work together to take a step out of blind faith, out of trust that we have the best intentions for each other. We want to get to know each other. We want to learn what we have in common. We want to learn all the great differences between us, so we can have this community that will not back down to adversity. We will stand up for justice, or stand up against injustice, make sure that people are safe in their community. Start to erase this violence that's happened in cities and towns across the country.
If you're just joining us right now, we are here in the Sacramento State Capitol building after hours, occupying the space until our demand is heard. We're here to restore democracy. I'd like to introduce you to Charlotte, who might have a story. Am I on?
You're on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're not only marching for democracy and not only sort of occupying this Capitol, we're also romping around and having a great time, and doing yoga exercises on the floor and things like that. I'd like to share the story of my first arrest. It took place on one of the porches of the Capitol building in Sacramento, rather late at night, and only those who wish to go to be arrested were arrested. And our arrest was organized very well by ourselves and also by the police, who kind of had it going on. The story of the entry and the rigmarole, the routine of getting checked in and all of that kind of thing were not particularly interesting to tell about, except that it was fun to observe the different moods of my comrades, having to do with the arrest. Some were somewhat traumatized, some frightened, some were calm in their minds, but their bodies were terrified. As for the individuals that worked there, they were mostly occupied in getting all the numbers right in the papers, in the proper slots, and so forth. And this was frightening for some of them. It got real when we...
To be continued.
To be continued.
Getting late. Burritos are intercepted. Trying to start us out. We're living on the Spirit, energized by the Spirit. Sometimes that's all we need.
Want a song?
Burrito song.
If you like eating burritos, you're getting caught in the calculation.
We shall not be moved. Because it's the right thing to do.
Very strong here in the People's House, in the Temple of Democracy. We want to invite the support of the officers here. We're fighting for you and your families, your future, your freedom too. And Brother Ed would like to tell us what he's got in the announcement.
I'm actually going to pass it off to my sergeant over here.
Sergeant, Brother Sergeant.
Just like before, so please try to listen.
I am Sergeant White of the California Highway Patrol. I'm a peace officer of the state of California. All persons in this area of the Capitol building are in violation of Section 1868 of the California Code of Regulations, Title 13, unpermitted event pursuant to 14685C2 of the Government Code. You are hereby ordered to immediately leave the building. If you do not leave this building, you will be subject to physical arrest and detention. If you resist arrest, necessary force will be used. You may leave this building through the west exit. So those of you that wish not to be arrested, we're going to have you proceed to the west exit, which is these doors right over here. Those of you that do wish to be arrested, please give your property to the people that are going to handle property. Okay? Everybody understand this order? Yeah. Okay, if we have those that wish to be arrested, we can have them over here.
Are you the guy handing the time? Yes. If you participate in any manner, you no longer become part of the class.
Where's the burritos? Try to sweep the area on your way out, so you don't have any jackets or anything that's left over. The garbage is Are you guys seeing the rest of your
Thank you.
So now everybody else, we're going to open up the west. We're going to open this room for you right here. And you can hold it
Okay, I'm going to read it again because it's got my doctor's so I want you to make sure you understand. I am Sergeant Stephen White of the California Highway Patrol. I'm a peace officer in the state of California, C2. You are hereby ordered to leave the building. If you do not leave this area, you will be subject to physical arrest and detention. If you wish to leave, you can leave through the west door. If you choose not to leave and you are arrested and you resist arrest, necessary force will be used. You may leave the building through the west exit if you wish to be arrested.
Yes, sir.